Welcome to Fresh Off the Set. I'm Carrie Hawker-Diaz.
And I'm Laura Murray. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, Carrie, I have a question for you. And honestly, it's not one I've ever asked myself, but when I thought about it, I was like, oh, I definitely have an answer for this.
Okay.
Do you think about the water you drink or like the quality of it? Like if one tastes better than the other?
Constantly, because I think we're now so focused on like chemicals and things that are in our foods and in our water. And I'm like, well, because we have a water filter we put in our fridge, but then like I'm hearing that isn't like doing much. And like I cannot drink tap water. The taste of it just doesn't sit right with me. I can't do it. And so I know people they install like machines under their sinks. And so I'm constantly thinking about it, honestly. And I don't know what's best.
Yeah, my parents have a machine under their sink. And when Jamie was first born, I mean, I was kind of neurotic anyway. Having him in the NICU, things, when I would make his formula, I was really intense about having it be filtered water for his formula.
That's your baby.
Just because I can only control so many things. And if I can control, what was going into his body, it made me feel a little more calm. So I was always focused on what kind of water I'm using. And I know this may, make me sound like pinkies up, but if I go to a restaurant and it's like, there are some restaurants where their tap water, I swear, tastes worse than other restaurants.
Yeah, I definitely taste the difference. Absolutely. Well, today we're joined by Trent Spafford. He's with the company on a mission to expose what's actually in our water and help families reclaim their homes as places of health, not hidden harm. He has like over 40 years of industry expertise behind him and the team and tens of thousands of households served. So I'm really excited to listen to this one because I'm often thinking about that. And I know if I am, I bet a lot of people are as well. And as you have said.
Absolutely. Like I said, I asked the question and then I was like, oh my gosh, I do think about this all the time. So let's take a look. Let's take a listen at what Trent has to say.
Okay, let's do it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fresh Off the Set. My name is David Osmond. I'm so glad you're joining me today. I'm excited to introduce you to a really good buddy of mine who is so smart in the ways of water. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it's something we all consume, our most precious resource. My buddy Trent Spafford, he's been passionate about this since he was just 15 years old. His awareness of harmful contaminants in the water supply led him to pursue a career in water treatment. In 96, he founded his first water company, and then decades of hands-on experience became an expert in this water purification. This is something we all deal with. Maybe we all use different systems, and he's got a lot more answers than I realized. But we're going to dive into what we consume as far as what water is, because Trent saw the dangers present in everyday tap water that families unknowingly consumed. And so in January 2017, he founded a company called Enevive with this revolutionary mission to create a process based on water research, transparency, integrity to really create clean water for us, the basis of our health. So I'm excited to introduce you to him and dive in a little bit further how he got to A to Z, where he's at right now, and why he's so passionate about our water. Welcome to the podcast, Trent. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, David. It's a pleasure to be here.
I don't know if was that introduction exactly right on accurate, or there's so much more to go on.
Oh, it was great.
You have quite a history, and we've been buddies for a long time.
Yeah.
One thing I've always known about you is you always care about people. You know that you worry about people's health. You know that it starts with the ABCs of what we intake. So water purification. You were 15 when this whole thing started. Tell me a little bit how you got into this industry and why you're so passionate about it.
Well, so my mom really invited me down from upstairs. I was 15 years old, 1983. And she said, hey, honey, a salesman's coming over. Come down and join me. Now, my father died in a car accident when I was really young, 5 months old. So my mom raised me to be the man of the house. And so she took me to go buy a couple different cars with her, clothes on a home. Like she would tow little Trent Lee along with her. And I would go and see this. And I watched my mom negotiate. And she was an amazing saleswoman and actually was in the news industry. She worked for KSL for years. And so she raised me to be this kind of responsible young man, be the man of the house. So she calls me downstairs. I sit down next to my mom. This salesman from a water softener company comes in. And
you're 15 years old, right?
15, but okay. I looked older. I was a big kid. I looked like I was 20. I think a lot of people thought I was her boyfriend.
Because you were the man of the house. Like you were doing all the things that she needed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So at the end of this demonstration, and one of the things I learned right off the bat was that water softening companies, they do a demonstration in the home. And it's, a lot of pressure, a lot of incentive, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And very little education. It was just hard water, soft water. And he hooked up this little machine and took the water right from our tap and converted it into softened water with this little miniature water softener. And we did this comparison contrast, right? And at the end, the salesman looks at my mom and says, Mrs. Spafford, what do you think? And she turned to me and looked at me and said, I don't know, Trent, what do you think? And so I sat there and negotiated the sale with my mom. And at the end of this, I guess he was impressed with me. Right? Go figure. So he said, will you walk me out to my car? I want to talk to you. And I thought, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And so it's springtime in 1983, right? It was a Thursday. I remember this. And so I walk him out and he goes, what do you do for work? And I'm like 15, right? But I didn't tell him that.
Paper route.
Yeah, but I was
mowing the lawn.
I was a bagger at a grocery store making like $2.98 a month or an hour, minimum wage back then. And he goes, well, you want to make more money than that? And I'm like, yeah. And he told me about, this marketing program that they had at this water softener company. And that's how I got involved. So started knocking doors at age 15, would ride my 10-speed bicycle into the neighborhood, and before cell phones, one little brochure and a pen and a pad of paper. And my first Saturday that I went out, I made $800
from $2.80 something cents to that.
Yeah, in one day.
It's crazy. That's awesome. As a little entrepreneur, you kind of sparked this business side of you.
Yeah. So then fast forward, I started my first company after college in 1996. It was Timberland Water. Grew that company, sold that company, and then founded Enevive in 2017. And my wife and I run the company. Our family's involved. My daughter, my son. We've had all of our kids involved in the business. It's a lot. It's really awesome working. And my wife and I, Teresa, we work together full time.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. It's really great, but there's some challenges there, but we've really figured this out. And so our family's involved. We opened a research center right after COVID happened. We move into this new warehouse, kind of a flex space with some office and a warehouse in the back. And one thing I wanted to do for years, decades actually, is be able to give away free ultra purified water out of a research center for free. And so we built this research center out. COVID hits, everything is shut down. Luckily, we were deemed an essential business. And so we were able to still meet with people and everything else during the 2-week shutdown.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we created a fill station. And so anybody can come to Enevive in Pleasant Grove and fill up their jugs of water. We've actually had RVs pull up in the back, and we have a hose, a food grade hose.
Fill up their tanks.
We fill up their tanks with ultra purified water. So most people, when they're buying bottled water, they get the big 5-gallon jug and they go to the store, a water store or say Macy's, and they'll spend anywhere from 50 cents to $1 a gallon. So we're giving away free ultra purified water. I think it's the best water on the planet.
So walk me through this on that side of things, on the mechanics of it. What started out as a 15-year-old and you're seeing it as a capitalist movement. I want to make some money. And you get into the business and you start selling and you realize, at what point does this change from I want to make money and advance myself to I want to change people's lives on their health and wellness? When did you become passionate about the mechanics of what's in our water and what did you learn about how to ultra purify that? And then we'll go dive into what's in our water and are we okay? When did that transfer of the I want to make money go into I want to change people's lives?
Yeah, so here I was in 2002, really is when I started really reevaluating the trajectory of water treatment dealers. Companies that, educate, pretty much everyone is just a water softener company. And they still do the same old sales antics from the past. They'll go in and do a demo. They'll give you a set of steak knives to get inside the home. And then it's the salesman's job to convince you, to buy this water softener. And I knew that things had to change. And so, but really in 2003, fluoride was on the ballot in Salt Lake County. And I was like, I'm in the water industry. I had 2 children at the time. I was like, I got to figure out this fluoride thing. I was neutral in the beginning. And so I started kind of delving into what is the fluoride issue here? What's going on? The more I learned about fluoride, my mind was really just opened to what was really happening. And so that's when I really got into the research, and not only just fluoride, but heavy metals and arsenic. And people here in Utah, particularly, we look at the mountains, these snow-covered mountains that are going to be coming here in the next month or so, and they think, oh, the snow is going to melt. I'm going to drink that water. We have great water, you know?
Sure.
We live in the Wasatch Mountains.
It's the mountain springs. That's what's it's printed on the bottle.
Yeah, exactly. And that really is the furthest thing from the truth. We have some of the worst water in the entire country right here in good old Utah.
Really?
Absolutely. And there's a lot of information about that. So I started really delving into, all right, is this fluoride thing, is this good? Is it bad? Does it really matter? And I just remember looking down on my tube of toothpaste and thinking, okay, there's a warning label on my toothpaste that says, don't ingest. And if you do, call poison control immediately. And it's the fluoride. And not half of a tube, not the whole tube. We're talking a pea-sized amount of the fluoridated toothpaste. They say on the label, if you swallow more in one brushing, then to call poison control, like if you swallow the toothpaste. And so I looked at that and how much fluoride is in one pea-sized amount of fluoridated toothpaste, how much fluoride is in it. And it's 1/4 milligram. And then I looked at water that they were proposing that a 20-ounce glass of water has 1/4 milligram.
Same as the toothpaste,
Yeah.
the pea-sized toothpaste. Okay.
So if it's bad in toothpaste, how is it magically safe in tap water? And so I started looking into that and I was just like, this is mind blowing what's really happening here. So a lot of research on ingesting fluoride, how it's a neurotoxin, increases your risk of hip fractures. It weakens the bones. But I just believe in choice. I believe that we should have the right, whether or not we take a registered drug. And so fluoride is a drug. It is, you have to have a prescription from either a dentist or a doctor to get fluoride tablets because you have to be monitored. When they put it in the tap water, there's no way of monitoring how much water you ingest. So there's no way of measuring the dose of the drug fluoride. And so if you're a runner and you're drinking a lot of water, then you're getting overdosed. Like you're eating what would be the equivalent of like 10 or 20 pea-sized amounts of fluoridated toothpaste every day because you're drinking it in the water.
Definitely a controversial issue, and it goes back in Utah specifically, like you said, over 20 years when it was on the ballot, and it's still an ongoing thing. Those proponents of it have other things to say about it and saying the benefits of it, you know, strong teeth, bones, whatever those things might be. But fluoride is not the only thing of concern that you found. Is that right? Like,
oh, yeah.
What else are we dealing with that's in our water that we should be aware of? You said Utah's like one of the worst. Like I haven't heard that.
Well, everything is relative, right? Everything is relative to something else. Einstein called it the law of relativity. Something is only near if it's compared to what?
Something far.
Something far. Everything is relative to something else. Light, dark, tall, short, thin, fat, you name it. So good and bad. What is good is considered to be bad somewhere else and vice versa. So it's all relative. So when I say Utah has some of the worst water in the country, it's by way of comparison.
Gotcha.
So a lot of people in Utah, the number one thing they think of in water is hard water. Hard water is really the last issue to be really concerned about when it comes to tap water. Although it's visible and it's you know, you can see the crusties on the faucets and the dry skin and shower doors, spots on the dishes. But really, it's the last thing you should be worried about. Hard water doesn't cause cancer. Hard water doesn't increase neurological brain disorders, but the other toxins that are found in tap water those things are really wreaking havoc on our endocrine system, hormonal development, our brain function is a direct result of the water that we ingest, because if the water contains those toxins, it's going into every cell into the body.
Those doing the water filtration systems for our tap water, for our general consumption, they're aware of it. They're doing what they can with the tools they have. I would think, we assume, you know, that it's being monitored and engaged, but we can do so much better, right? I mean, and a lot of people do. Like, there's a lot of over-the-counter filtration systems. I use one called Berkey and all this. But like you were saying before we went to the mics, anything is better than nothing. Yeah. But there's always good, better, best, right? There's those certain things that we should be looking at. So what can we do to get the best, cleanest water possible?
Well, there's a lot of misinformation out there. Like Berkey went through a class action lawsuit 2 years ago and lost $32 million for misadvertising. So there's a lot of water filtration companies will put a spin, and this is where, as a water research firm, we're going to get rid of the spin. We got to go right to the heart of the issue, evaluate all these different products. So not only do we study study the water and what's in the water that can cause health issues that I just mentioned, but also the different solutions, like an independent view where I'm not married to any one product. So like if you want to learn about Nike, you don't go talk to Adidas. They're going to tell you, well, Adidas is better. As a water research firm, we are independent. Our voice is our client's voice, the people that we work with. And so we've evaluated and looked at all these different filters. And what's emerged is really interesting. Like I said before, any filter is better than nothing. But if you really look at the science, you want all of the toxins out. I ask people, what toxins, if it's in the water, what do you want to leave in?
Yeah.
Do you want to leave PFAS in the water? Do you want to leave lead in the water? Because one filter doesn't take out PFAS and lead.
Right.
So it's a combination. You have to know the science and the application of different types of media. Media is the material that's inside a filter. So you can have a shell. The filter is the shell, but what's in it? That's what matters.
Things that are getting through, apart from, we started off with even the fluoride, but there's so much more than just that chemical. There's a lot of those, the drugs that get flushed down a toilet. I mean, they just get right through those filtration systems. And then we're dealing with even the microplastics of things these days more so than ever. What should we be aware of when it comes to plastics, any other toxins that are in our water? What do we not know that's sitting right in front of us?
Well, so much. And that's so interesting you say that, because we don't know what we don't know until we know it.
Yeah.
And as a research firm, that's where we really excel. We have the best solutions, I believe, that we've customized and designed. It's the information. We've developed a way that people can interact with us without that cheesy salesman coming into the home and hooking up that little water softener and the way that all these water softener companies do it. So we have a research meeting where we can either do it nationwide on a Zoom call. So we don't even have to come into the home, but we can pull up water reports and really educate people of what's really in the water without this big sales pitch. There's nothing to buy. It's strictly research only. And I'm willing to invest in our clients and educate them, give them the information without any kind of a buy. No pressure, no gimmicks, just the truth. And that's really what I am. I feel like I've been called to be a truth teller about water, because it is the key foundation element to life. And that's why Enevive means the original life and it all starts with water.
That's cool.
So you can get informed without any kind of a sales pitch from Enevive. And then after you really see what's in the water or what's not in the water, hey, we're hopeful that when we pull a water report and look at the research and the data, that the water is great. I've yet to find that anywhere. So right now you have over in Harriman, a small community here in Salt Lake County. Harriman is now having high levels of this PFAS, these forever chemicals, showing up in the water. You've got places in Murray. You've got places in Salt Lake. You've got Lehigh. Lehigh is really high in arsenic. And arsenic is the main ingredient in rat poison. I mean, it's a toxin. And so then the question is, well, isn't Big Brother, isn't the EPA taking care of us?
Yeah, they see this, right? Because you get the reports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so most of the data that the regulations of what's good and what's bad, again, everything is relative, really happened back in 1974, like before the invention of the computer. We were looking at toxins, and back in 1974, they identified 41 toxins found in common tap water, and they did the research. What's good? What's bad? How much is too much? How much is okay of a toxin? Well, I don't want any toxins in my water, but they set what they call a goal level.
Yeah.
And the goal level, below the goal level, so let's say it's 1 part per million of whatever. Below 1 would be safe. This is from the EPA. Above 1, not so safe. But then they regulated the allowable maximum, the maximum contaminant level. And so you have this range of what is considered safe, and only if a toxin goes above the maximum is it considered not legal.
Oh, interesting.
Or in violation. But that doesn't mean it's safe.
Doesn't mean it's but I think knowledge is power, and to be able to get those numbers, to get the knowledge of what we are consuming. Mm-hmm. How do we get that? How can we test our water?
Yeah, we do in-house testing. We have a lab that we use as well. So if you want your water tested, we can do some testing is totally free, and we can give you the information at no cost to you. And everybody's so busy these days, and so we actually time ourselves. When we meet with someone on this information meeting, we literally time ourselves, and it's 29 minutes or less. If somebody sat there like a bump on a log, it would take 20 minutes, but it's time well invested.
Gotcha.
There are things that we waste our time on. I mean, scrolling every day. Think about how much time people waste just doing that.
What difference have you seen from those who are consuming pure water. Obviously, if you're going to be drinking the energy drinks and the sodas and anything else, water is always your better bet. I would think so, right? As you're consuming liquids and fluids, the more water you drink, the better for your natural biological system. But have you seen people who have benefited from just even water filtration systems and going about it the right way and getting those toxins out?
Yeah. And, I can't say that we can prevent or cure or we don't diagnose anything. There's my disclaimer. But absolutely, a lot of it is just, if you can help reduce the risk of cancer and somebody doesn't get cancer because they reduce their risk of cancer to a point where they didn't get it, you would never know they got it because they didn't get it. So it's hard to really gauge on what health benefits, but we know that there are chemicals in the shower, not just drinking water. There are chemicals every time you take a shower, you absorb more chemicals through the skin directly to the blood, and the blood goes where? Everywhere in the body. More in 1 10-minute shower than drinking the tap water for a month. And so there's a lot of these chemicals that are transdermally absorbed like a nicotine patch or testosterone cream for men or women that goes into the blood. So it's not just about drinking water. It's about the water you bathe in, shower, wash your face in, what you're inhaling in the shower. And so all this research, bladder cancer rates increase, removing those toxins would decrease those risks of those diseases in an opposite manner.
There's a lot of maybe more harsh news out there than maybe meets the eye. We just assume, hey, I'm drinking a ton of water. It's awesome. Once you start lifting the hood up on that, you realize, wow, there's more in here than I realized. Yeah. But there are some good solutions to be able to get out there and get those toxins out as much as possible.
Yeah. So we've got a variety of products on our website, Enevive, Enevive.com. We have shower head filters that are very affordable that you buy the shower head once and then you replace the internal filter. We have bath balls. So a lot of moms and dads, they bathe their kids and they put the bathtub, they put the kids in the water. Little do they know they're absorbing all these chemicals into the blood. And so we have bath ball filters where the hot water, cold water, warm water goes through a filter and fills up the tub so you can filter it there. We have a lot of great, very affordable systems that remove toxins at the point of entry where the water comes into the home. And you can do full house filtration, shower heads. It doesn't matter if you're a college student, over at Utah or in a dorm, you can get better water.
At the 30,000 foot view on how it works, I'm fascinated by how it's made, right? There's so many different filtration systems that are sold over the counter and other solutions that claim this is how you get those toxins out or whatnot. And I'm not the expert on this, but you are. You've spent 42 years doing this.
Yeah.
What does your system do? Lay it out in layman's terms.
A lot of it depends on how good a water do you want and where do you want that to go in the house. So we ask our clients, what do you want to leave in? What do you want to take out? Because that will determine what mechanism we put in the home or in an apartment or whatever. So how good a water do you want? If you go all in, we're talking water goes through 5 different layers of media before it even gets pre-treated. We put it through a UV light so that bacteria, the boil order issues. There are 1,500 boil water notices weekly in the United States right now, weekly. And those numbers are increasing. So we have UV lights that will kill E. coli, virus, bacteria. It prevents them from reproducing, actually.
1,500 notifications per week.
Per week across the country.
That's crazy.
Yeah. E. coli is in the water, coliform, cryptosporidium. I mean, just this summer, there was Legionnaire's disease up in the Bronx, and it killed 12 people this last summer from Legionnaire. It's a bacteria that rapidly grows in water supplies. And so this is happening all over the country. It is not isolated to one pocket here or there, but water is getting progressively worse. And I said it on the news today with you. Every day you turn your tap on, you're seeing the best water you're ever going to see. Your grandkids will look back at the water we have today in envy because it's going to get progressively worse. That's a fact. That's not my opinion. So as we look at solutions, we have a variety of solutions. We don't sell one product. And then there's a lot of misinformation out there about mineral water. Oh, we filter the water, but we leave the good minerals in. And if they're leaving minerals in, that means they're leaving toxins in also, because it's particle size. You can't take, the size of my hand under a microscope. There's a mineral. You can't take a toxin that is smaller than that mineral and leave the mineral in and somehow get the toxin out.
Right.
You got to go all the way. And so we there's all this information about mineral water. There's a lot of misinformation out there. A lot of companies that just, and I hate to say it, but Berkey is one of them. Kangen is another one. Oh, a high alkaline water. We filter the water. Well, they don't purify the water. They don't get all the toxins out. It's a little Brita, kind of a Brita filter. And then they change the molecular structure to have one, high potential of hydrogen or high alkalinity, high pH and low pH. And they sell this for like $5,500. And now science, and I've been saying this the whole time, alkaline water is not good for you. Your stomach is acidic. When you drink alkaline water, you're putting the acidity in your stomach right out. And then the body says, I need more acidity.
So you generate more acid.
Yeah. So there's this yin and yang. It's everything is relative. Everything. And so what we've done is we've navigated all the different systems out there. We have an unbiased opinion of what works, what doesn't. Do you want it for the full house? You want one shower? Are you in an apartment? Do you own your home? There's a variety of things that we have to really look at. But I always just say, forget all that for now. Let's just look at what's in the water and get educated. Let's get the real information and let's tell the truth.
Yeah, well, you got your information. Where can people get more about Enevive, contact you, and get that information about the 3 things they can do?
You can text info, INFO, to 801-993-0080. That is our office number. If you just text info, we will text you 3 things that you can do right now to improve your water without spending a penny. So like if you're a mom and you're wherever you are, you just get the information and learn about these 3 things that you can do totally for free. 801-993-0080. We'll send you that free information. No sales pitch, just information that you need to know. Everyone needs to know this information.
Anything as we wrap up this conversation, and thank you for coming in. Thanks for talking about this. I feel like I drink a ton of water, and now I feel like I need to do a little bit more. But knowledge is power. Yeah. Just knowing what's actually in there. Simple things like not drinking out of plastic containers, plastic bottles. Go to glass. Yeah. Go to stainless steel. Mm-hmm. Just something as simple as that will help remove just even a couple of those toxins. What's the last thing you want people to know about their drinking water before we wrap up?
I would just say get informed. That's the key. Information is power. When you're properly informed and you have the right information without all this sales spin from different water filtration companies, as a water research firm, we've done the research. We can save you a ton of time and wasted money on buying things that aren't the right systems for what you really want it to do. So we represent you. We're your voice. So we've done so much research on all the issues. We've really dialed this thing in. We've really perfected it.
I can tell you're passionate about it. You always have been and done it for so many decades. You and Teresa, your wife, and your whole family, and just really cool to see how you've grown in this, and then your passion behind just making the world a little bit cleaner and safer. Go down to Pleasant Grove, go get some water.
Yeah,
be
awesome. For free.
Yeah,
pull up your RV.
It's awesome. I'm going to let my family know. Well, I'll come by. But Trent, thank you for coming by the studio today, sharing your message. And again, it's just really good to know about we're actually consuming and things that we can do about it to get that cleanest water. You're awesome. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, David.
And thank you for listening, everybody. Fresh off the set, of course, you can listen anywhere, all over the place. We appreciate your support. Go check out what Trent's doing and stay safe out there. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you. And we'll be with you next time. Thanks.
Congrats, you made it to the end. If you want to continue to freshen up your day, you can watch us on Fresh Living every weekday on CBS Channel 2 in Utah at 1 o'clock. You can also watch us on our YouTube channel, KUTV Fresh Living, and follow us on social media. We will see you next week.